Thank you everybody for joining us. We're going to get the meeting started. It is now 5:31. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And then if we can go ahead and start with the flag salute, please. And you should see a flag on your screen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so please note that we have all three board members present with us. And then we're going to roll to 2.0, agenda deletions, revisions, and agenda approval.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to approve the agenda as is, and we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Scott?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
I as well. Thank you. All right, moving to 3.0, superintendent separation agreement. Anna?
Good evening. As of this morning, we have an agreed upon document that was sent to the board for review and approval. I provided support along with an outside attorney, and Mr. Holliday conducted the negotiations. He can address questions about the negotiations if there are any, and I can address questions about the language if needed. And the agreement has to be approved by the board.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Steve, Scott, do we have any discussion on this?
I just want to thank Steve for stepping up to the plate and taking all the heat on being the principal negotiator on this, and thank Anna for leading this. You know, in the final agreement, which for the benefit of our audience is basically a 12-month severance package, is maybe not my favorite set of outcomes, but it's a whole lot better than where I think you started from, Steve, and nobody was ever going to get everything they wanted out of this whole thing. And I think there are some ways over time that we'll be able to recover the entire cost and make this net zero to the district. So thank you for the effort, and I'm prepared to support it, and I move to approve the separation.
All right, and I second that motion. Is there further discussion? I would just like to also add, for discussion purposes, thank you, Steve. I appreciate everything that you've done to get this handled. I know that was a lot, so thank you for stepping up like Mr. Cooper has stated. So any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion on the table to approve the separation agreement, and we have a second. Let's do a roll call vote. Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
And I say yes as well. Thank you. 4.0, appointment of board member application review committee. I'm going to open this up now. I know that we each had emailed our the people that we had looked at to Tammy, and I don't think there were any duplicates. I did not hear that there were any duplicates on our part. So I guess I'll open this up for discussion.
I just had one question of if there is a need for possible backup people in case somebody's schedule doesn't fit the process. I don't know if we have extra people who have applied or fallen in, or I've had one or two extra, but wasn't sure what to do with them.
Right. I think I have the same too. I think we got emails on that. Scott?
I can just email them to Tammy and just as a placeholder for extras, or wasn't sure what to do with them.
Okay.
First of all, do y'all have a list of these 9? Because I only have my 3. I don't know who you nominated.
I don't have a list either.
I don't.
Maybe we could start by hearing that list. And then as to backups, I mean, we've said we want to move fast on this thing, right? So the application closes February 5th, which is right around the corner. They need to jump right in, and we were hoping to have that appointed before the 1st of March. I think rather than go back and have to mess around with it, if somebody doesn't show up, well, they don't show up, and the remainder of them get the job done.
And that's fine
There's
too.
9 of them there, so if they end up being 7, fine.
That works too.
But let them move at the speed that they have to move, because this is a tough lift to even come out with the recommendations timely, given the short timeline.
Right. Okay. All right. So I didn't get the list either. Steve, you did not either?
I just had my 3 is all.
Okay.
We're all in the dark.
Okay. So I guess at this point in time, how does this roll? Do we ask for the list, and then that is getting handled by Tammy or Dr. Hoff to get a hold of them? And
Yep.
Maybe, well, have you
Okay.
contacted yours? I mean, all mine have agreed to serve.
yes, mine did too.
So I think maybe we just go around and the 3 of us each tell who we appointed and why, and at the end we make a motion to appoint the 9. And then you have to decide who's going to be chair from among that group, Jen, and that has to be done in public session.
Okay. Dr. Hoff, did you have something to add?
No, I was going to say, I think the plan was just for you guys to all share your 3 names, and then
Okay.
from there, Tammy would coordinate the logistics.
Okay.
And then, yeah, Jen, as Mr. Cooper mentioned, if you could, I believe the plan was to have you designate one as the chair that Tammy could work with.
Okay. I didn't ask any one of my 3 if any of them would be willing to be chair, so this will be a surprise for everybody tonight.
Maybe
Okay.
you should appoint a vice chair too, in case your chair doesn't want to do it.
Okay. All right. So who wants to begin?
You're
I'll
the
go.
chair. You do it.
Oh, yeah, you go.
Okay.
Steve.
Sure.
Go.
Okay. So the 3 that have agreed are Joanne Hemphill, Debbie Wood, and Linda Pepper.
I had Steve Forrester, Steve McGuire, and
Hold on.
sorry.
Okay.
So Steve Forrester, Steve
Uh-huh.
McGuire, and Kathy Puckett.
And my 3 were Wayne Looney, Kevin Bradley, and Callista Songstad.
And Callista. Mrs. Scott. Mrs. Steve. Okay. In regards to a chair.
That's something she needs to designate tonight, or is that something she can chew on?
That'd be public session.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Never mind.
Okay, go ahead.
I had nothing.
So Scott, you think I should do a chair and then a vice chair?
I think you'd probably need that just logistically in case your chair can't be there.
Okay.
You've got some strong leaders in that group.
Yes, this is true. Okay. This is a tough one. Nothing like being put on the spot. I'm going to go ahead and say, how about, and then are we supposed to ask them? So I'll go with Kevin Bradley as chair. And I will do, vice chair. Flip a coin, Jen. Linda Pepper. And then if they're watching, congratulations. Scott, you're gonna have to, I guess, I don't have Mr. Bradley's information.
I provided it to Tammy.
That's
Perfect.
something Tammy can take care of letting them know.
Jen, we'll take it from here and get a hold of them and
Oh,
start
good.
coordinating logistical details. So
Oh, good, thank you. I was like, I'm not sure how to roll with that one. Okay, so we have our 9 people. We have a chair and a vice chair. Is there anything else, Mr. Cooper, that you were thinking on this?
On
That we
that,
need- Okay,
I mean, I would review again from the discussion we had at the last meeting. The role of the committee at this point is to meet and decide a process that they want to go through based on whether, I don't know if they're going to do interviews or screening questionnaires or whatever. And then after the application closes on February 5th, to implement their process, which is really up to them, and find their 2 candidates and forward us 2 names, that one from zone 1 and one from zone 3, to be considered at the earliest possible date. I'd love that to be the February meeting, but I doubt they can get this process done in time for notification. So we would have to call a special meeting sometime to accommodate their recommendation, unless we just want to do it in March.
because February 5th is a Wednesday, so closes at 5 p.m. That would give them, they give them Thursday, Friday, and then our meeting would be on the 10th. So that is cutting it pretty close. We probably
Too
would have
close.
a special meeting just to make sure that they had plenty of time to review, go through, meet, do all the things. I agree. So, okay, I guess, do we just want them to come back to us and just say, okay, we're going to need a week. This is our timeline, and then we go from there.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
I would just say to all those people, the community trusts you, so don't let us down.
No pressure.
Right.
That's right.
No. Yeah. Welcome to the hot seat. Okay. Do we have anything else in regards to the appointment of the board member application review committee?
Not on that. I do have one other item I want to talk about.
Okay. Steve, do you have anything else on that? Number 4.0?
Nope, I do not. I am good to go.
Okay. Mr. Cooper?
So I think we ought to start thinking about an interim superintendent. We currently have an acting superintendent. We just did an agreement that will close that chapter out on January 31st. We have an upcoming meeting. The district needs leadership. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that the most likely person to be an interim superintendent is Dr. Joel Hoff, who has been doing a fine job as acting. And frankly, with an election where we'd be inviting somebody to come in who doesn't even know what board they're going to be dealing with between now and June, I would suggest that maybe we would be lucky to even get Dr. Hoff to sign a contract. So maybe we could, if we all were in agreement on that, ask Dr. Hoff to start working on a draft contract, working off of Dwayne's contract as a template to be considered at the February meeting, if you can get it done by then. Now, you guys may have a whole different idea about where we're going to go with all that. I did check with Melinda this morning, who says we do not need to have an open call or an HR recruiting in order to appoint an interim, because it's only interim. And we also, she said, need to delegate one member of the board to negotiate that contract before it comes to the full board. Unless we want to have a really extensive open session and slug that out in February, which won't lead to the appointment real soon.
Okay. Steve?
That seems like a reasonable avenue to me.
I'm making notes. Sorry. Please hold.
No, I do agree also. I think it'd be a hard time somebody sign up for something if they have no idea who they're going to be working with or what they're going to be doing, or yeah.
Right. So, Scott, are you wanting to go ahead and put this on the agenda for February 10th?
I'd like to put it on the agenda if we can get a draft contract negotiated between now and then. I don't
Oh.
know if that's possible. That's a big lift.
No. That would be 1 week, it's like.
But
just
we could
Carol-
also time it to the special meeting to appoint the new board members. So if the 10th proves to be too ambitious, we could do it at the special meeting along with the new board member.
Okay,
Do we wait to do because you're not that far out?
Right.
Do you wait for your new board members to possibly establish the new process just to make sure that they're on fine with it too?
It's just a matter of how long you want to run with an acting versus an interim.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're only talking another, what, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks?
ish, well,
Or is it?
Depending on how fast the committee goes.
yeah, and their timeline.
True, true.
Okay. Have we talked to Dr. Hoff?
He's listened to it.
He has. He has.
I've said many times, whatever the board wants, love this place, and happy to serve in any role, especially with we're definitely in unique times. So whatever the board wants from me, I'm happy to step up in any way.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Hoff.
I think that was yes. In a
I'm gonna go
nutshell.
with that. Yeah, I think in a nutshell, it was definitely a yes. Whatever he needs to do to serve this district. Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna potentially look at seeing if there is a draft that can get a draft contract before the February 10th meeting. May not happen. And worst case scenario, we go to the special meeting that we're gonna have when we're appointing the Zone 1 and Zone 3 vacancies, correct? Okay. And then
Proposal.
we also need to delegate a board member to work on that contract.
I can do this one too, if you'd like. Doesn't matter to me.
I'll take a volunteer anytime I can get one.
Kind of
Exactly.
what I thought.
Thank you, Steve, for being able to step up on that one and volunteering for that. Mr. Cooper, do we need to make motions for any of this tonight?
I don't think so. I think we just agreed on a process to go forward. There's no action until we actually
Okay.
get to the meeting and vote on it.
Okay, just making sure. Dotting the i's, crossing the t's, all the things. Okay,
Just making sure that I have use of resources of things that I need to be able to ask questions as we go through it. That's part of the process. Not just solely by myself.
Joel, would it be cleaner to make a motion, or Anna? Want a motion on that? Just
I'll default to Anna. It will definitely be cleaner to have a motion just to have official minutes on it.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we delegate Steve Holiday to negotiate a potential contract with Joel Hoff as interim superintendent and direct legal and business officers to support Mr. Holiday in his efforts.
and I second that. So we have a motion on the table to delegate Steve Holiday to negotiate a potential contract with Dr. Hoff as the interim superintendent and to work with those who will help assist in that contract. And we have a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, let's vote. Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Aye.
and I say yes as well. Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
I have a comment that I'd like to make as we close out. And I'd like to say that I am truly sorry for how things have ended with Dr. Skinner. I do think she came in with great promise. I do think she always had the best interests of the district at heart. I think she walked into a challenging political situation. And I think that there were things along the way that were unexpected, but I appreciated her heart and her effort. And I also look forward to closing this chapter and moving on with what's in the best interest of our kids and families, our kids especially, since I think they are at the center of what we ought to be doing. So, and thank you to our staff who had to live through all this transition in a time of uncertainty. I know that's not easy. I know that apparently this district is not easy to work for. So thank you for sticking with it, and hopefully we have smoother sailing ahead.
Thank you. I echo all of that and I appreciate that. Yes, I appreciate our district very much. They've been through a lot with us. So thank you again for everybody.
I agree.
All right. Anything else, board members? Dr. Hoff? Miss Anna? Okay. It is 5:52 and we are going to adjourn this meeting. That was my gavel.